For 13 through 16, for this category, we're putting all of the equations into point-slope form. So again, over to the side of the paper, I gave you the equation here, as well as it's on the front side of the review, and it would be the same thing for your test. So for 13, I have a slope of 4, and I have a known point, which I label x1 and y1. So the formula that's written there on the paper for you looks like this. Can you plug in accordingly? So y minus, your y1 is a negative 6. So we're going to go ahead and change that to a positive. My m is 4. And then I would have x minus x1, which is 2. Okay, so number 14 would be the exact same thing. Label your m and your point and plug it in. So y minus y1, y1 is 8, m is 1/3, and then x minus a negative 4. So again, make that a positive 4. Okay, for 15 and 16, if you look at both of these graphs, they do not cross the y-axis in the actual picture that we can see. So we have to use a point and a slope to go ahead and solve this. So slope, I'm going to go down 2 and right 2, and that gives me a negative 1. My point would be the farthest right point, which would be this one right here, and that is a 5, 4. So 5, 4 as an ordered pair. Now, just to note, that 5 looks kind of like a 6 because it's been shrunken down, the whole graph has been. So please make sure that you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's x1 and y1. Y minus y1, which is 4. The slope I found, and then x minus 5. Okay, for 16, I'm going to find my slope. So up 2, right 1, which is 2. And then the point, again, is that most right point, so that would be a 4, negative 3. And then, of course, I would just plug that in. So y minus a negative 3 equals my slope, which is 2. And then x minus my 4. Double negative turns into a positive. Okay. For number 17 and 18, both of these say transform the equation into slope-intercept form and then standard form. So the big idea, SIF, you want to have y equals. For SF, you want to have x and y together on the same side. So at the very top, I'm going to distribute my 3, and I'm going to have y minus 8 equals 3x, and then 3 times 5 would be positive 15. But y is not by itself. I still have a negative 8. So I add the 8 to the 15, and 15 plus 8 gives me 23. Now, if I want x and y together, I got to move the x to the front. And if I do that, I change the sign. So I subtract the 3, pretend this is crossed out, makes 0, and we have a negative 3x plus y equals that 23. Now 18 is the exact same way as number 17. It just, as you can see, the positive and the negative, or the plus and the minus, it's kind of switched around. So we're still going to distribute. So y plus 4, 2 times x, 2x. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Then I would subtract the 4, but I can see here that both of these numbers are negative. So that means I have to add and keep my sign. So 12 plus 4 is 16, but I keep it negative. So now, to get x and y together, I would move the 2x to the other side by subtracting it. And we get negative 2x plus the y. Remember, this made 0, so we don't write this down. And then minus 16. For number 19, we have 2 steps here. The first step is that we have to find the slope of these 2 points. It says to write the equation in point-slope form of the line that passes through the 2 points. Well, I only have points. I don't have a slope. So the first thing is I would label this x1, y1, x2, y2. And on the front of the review, as well as like your test, you're going to have slope of a line formula. And that's this y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I would use this to get my slope. Okay, so over here, I'm going to say, okay, slope. These minus signs come from the formula. So at the top, I'm going to do y2 and the y1. So y2 is 10 and then 6. On the bottom, x2 is 5, x1 is 3. So 10 minus 6 is 4, 5 minus 3 is 2. And if I divide that, that's just 2. So my slope is 2. My point is x1 and y1. And so then I could go back to that front page again, find the formula for point-slope form, and plug it in. So y minus y1, which is 6, equals your slope, which is 2. You just found that. And then x minus 3.